spirit of community.
The Lent period is also an opportunity for spiritual growth, a time to reconnect with other faith.
For this Lent period, I try to convert myself. I try to help my brothers and sisters, even my children, my wife, and my family, to take this way, the way of conversion, the way of forgiveness, the way of peace, the way of showing love.
Today's message serves as a timely reminder of the importance of faith, hope, and love. May this Lent period be a time of spiritual renewal, personal growth, and collective transformation, and may we emerge stronger, more united, and more committed to building a world of peace, justice, and love.
Let's now take you over to the northwest region of the country, where stakeholders gathered in Bamenda for a preparatory meeting leading up to the 41st International Women's Day, placed under the theme Rights, Justice and Action for All Women and Girls. The meeting brought together government officials, non-governmental organizations and representatives from civil society to discuss strategies for addressing pressing issues affecting women and girls in the region. Bertrand Tita takes us to Bamenda in the following report.
The regional delegates of Women Empowerment and the Family, Wirba Hassan, emphasized the importance of men's involvement in supporting women's challenges, urging them to accompany women in their struggles. She also called on every woman to see herself as an ambassador tasked with mobilizing peers for the March 8th celebration.
We've just from having an enlarged operating meeting in preparation for the 41st edition of the International Women's Day in the Northwest region. And this 41st edition will be celebrated under the theme Women, Rights, Justice, Action for All Women and Girls.
The meeting also saw the presentation of a draft law on gender-based violence and a national strategy to combat such violence with the aim of its prevalence. The representative of the governor of the Northwest region attended the meeting, highlighting the government's commitment to women's empowerment. As preparation gathers momentum, organizers are calling on communities across the region to actively participate in the upcoming activities.
We are going to sensitize the general public, sensitize the population, sensitize the men in particular to accompany the women in their challenges, because issues having to do with women's rights, they are human rights.
For many stakeholders, this year's International Women's Day is not merely ceremonial, it is a renewed commitment to protect rights, demand justice, and take decisive action for every woman and girl in the Northwest region.
At the level of the Northwest region, considering all the challenges we have been facing, we want to have an innovation of letting the men accompany the women in their challenges in what we call the He for She campaign. So this activity is going to go on as we have started today. We're encouraging all men, all husbands, all heads of associations to accompany the women in their respective services, because they have challenges and they do have challenges.
The event promises to be a significant milestone in the region's effort to promote women's rights and empowerment, and stakeholders are optimistic about the impact it will have on the lives of women and girls in the troubled Northwest region.
That expresses thoughts of empowerment.
As you heard in one of our lead stories, the rise in violence or killing cases within Cameroonian homes has reached alarming proportions, with recent incidents exposing problems within marriages and families across the nation. This increase in domestic abuse paints a picture of families caught between economic expectation and shifting cultural expectations. It is in this light that Melanimbo and Fridi Esomo caught up with a sociologist and put together the following report.
A wave of horrific domestic violence cases has recently shaken Cameroon, exposing deep-seated dysfunctions within marriages and families. Beyond immediate brutality, these incidents reveal a troubling breakdown of communication between partners where dialogue has been replaced by aggression as a means of resolving conflict.
Infidelity and lack of tolerance in couples. It's clear that infidelity, whether male or female, can be a huge factor of tension. And when there is no tolerance, meaning you can't forgive or understand each other's mistakes, it becomes really hard to make the couple work.
Financial hardship sits at the heart of many marital disputes, becoming a fuse that ignites tension. This marital pressure, combined with the cultural shift that increasingly values financial status over emotional connection, creates a volatile mix where respect and patience are often the first casualties.
The woman says that the 150,000 francs that the partner gave her from time to time were not enough to meet the basic needs of the children and her own needs.
The machinery of justice intended to protect victims appear badly broken, as perpetrators of violence are frequently arrested only to be released, eroding public confidence in the legal system.
Justice should step in to punish directly. There should be immediate punitive laws. As soon as a case of infanticide or feminicide is reported, the person should be criminalized and punished directly.
Without swift, firm judicial responses, the message sent to society is that domestic violence carries no real consequences. Breaking this cycle requires confronting uncomfortable truths about how Cameroonian society raises its children and defines gender roles.
Let's now talk education in this newscast, where a delegation of lawmakers from the National Assembly on Education, Professional Training and Youth, led by Honorable Gabriel Fanja, paid a visit or a working visit to the government bilingual high school, a source here in Yaoundé, to assess the implementation of digital learning reforms in the secondary education subsector. The visit was facilitated by Minister Pauline Nalova Lionga of Secondary Education. Our staffman Betrantita was present and put together the full report.
The lawmakers were taken on a tour of smart classrooms, connected learning platforms and digital tools currently deployed at GBHS ESOS. Addressing the delegation, the Minister of Secondary Education, Nalova Lionga, expressed her appreciation for the committee's presence and engagement, emphasizing the importance of legislative oversight in consolidating reforms.
Involve our parliamentarian friends, because we think that they are with the people and we are with the students, and we think that we need helpers to take this message of education and what we're doing in schools back to the villages, because to educate the people, it's not just the teachers, but you need the parliamentarians. That each time we invite that we're doing something, we're doing a demonstration, we want them to see, because we want them to understand what we're doing. They are always there.
She reaffirmed her commitment to sustain collaboration with Parliament, noting that a shared vision and coordinated action are essential to building a future-ready education system.
So this is the way we're going to do it. Now we've just shown a film which tells them how we are trying to reach the local community. Apart from all the capitals that we have, we're also reaching the people who are away. We've shown them that people can have the same lessons that the children of the cities can have through, without internet. Whether they have internet or not, they can get those lessons through the microcloud technology.
Honorable Gabriel Fanja, chairperson of the committee, commended the minister's initiative to open classrooms to lawmakers, describing the visit as timely and instructive. He pledged the committee's readiness to support the ministry in enhancing quality education nationwide. The visit was hailed as a practical bridge between policy and practice, aligning ministerial reforms, parliamentary oversight, and classroom realities in Cameroon's push towards a digital empowered education system.
Let's now take a tour out of the country to get updates of what make news, where in a bold decision that has drawn national attention, Gabon has temporarily restricted access to social media as authorities respond to escalating tensions within the country. The measure, announced by regulators, comes amid growing public unrest and is described as a step to preserve stability while upholding constitutional principles. Second stop will be in Somalia and then Algeria. These stories are compiled in the following report.
In a sweeping move aimed at curbing rising tensions, Gabon has suspended social media platforms until further notice. According to the country's media regulator, the High Authority for Communication cited the spread of defamatory and hateful content, false information, cyberbullying, and unauthorized disclosure of personal data as a threat to social cohesion and democratic stability, though no specific platforms were mentioned. The decision comes amid growing social unrest, including ongoing strikes by teachers and protests across several public sectors, posing an early challenge for President Brice Oligui Nguema's administration. Authorities, however, maintained that freedom of expression remains a constitutional right despite the temporary restrictions. After years of intense conflict, Somalia has reported notable progress in its campaign against the Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab militant group, reclaiming territories that had been under insurgent control for nearly 2 decades. Officials say the Somali National Army, backed by US-supported airstrikes and improved intelligence operations, has liberated key areas in Lower Shabelle and dismantled important militant supply bases. Analysts highlight the role of drone surveillance in weakening the group's capabilities, as Al-Shabaab once dominated large parts of southern and central Somalia, including sections of Mogadishu. Marking a step towards easing months of strained relations, France and Algeria have agreed to reactivate high-level security cooperation following talks in Algeria between French Interior Minister and the Algerian President. The renewed partnership will focus on judicial collaboration, intelligence sharing, policing, and migrant readmissions, with both sides pledging swift implementation. The move signaled a diplomatic tour after tensions flared over France's 2024 backing and Moroccan sovereignty in Western Sahara, as the two nations work to address counter-terrorism, drug trafficking, and broader regional security concerns.
We now bring you back to Talk Sports. As you heard in one of our lead stories, less than 2 weeks before the prestigious Cameroon Football Award, the Cameroon Ballon d'Or 2025, Fecafoot has unveiled the list of nominees vying for top honors in various categories. The 2025 edition promises to be an exciting one, with talented players and coaches throwing their hearts into the ring. Bertrand Tita presents the nominees in the following commentary.
Less than 2 weeks before the award ceremony, the Cameroon Football Federation, Fecafoot, has released the list of nominees for the 2025 Cameroon Football Awards. Among the most anticipated categories is the Best Player of the Year in Elite 1. The nominees for Best Player include champions from last season with Colombe Dunja, notably Amidou Hamza, one of the favorites. The central defender is currently in Austria awaiting his new club's debut. Idrissou Norfina, the goalkeeper, is also nominated. Edward Simbang, Cameroonian international and participant in the AFCON with the Indomitable Lions, who moved from PWD to Colombe, is also on the list. Other nominees include Boris Mfumu former AS Fortuna Denfo player Idrisun Difochu of PWD of Bamenda and Serge Douara of Gazelle de Garoua. In the goalkeeper category, Mfofina Edward Sombang and Osani Osmanu of Gazelle are nominated. For Best Coach in Elite 1, nominees includes Indomitable Lions coach David Pagu, now at Cotonsport, Richard Towa, champion of Cameroon last season, Alium Kana of Gazelle, and Yves Clement Aroga, winner of the Cameroon Cup with Pante Dundee. In the women's category, nominees for the best players include Fracha Lise Tiwa and Mogai of Lekie, Koso of FC Ebolowa, and Raisa Adamant of Nja Sport. For Best Coach in Super League, nominees include Stefan Nzana of Lekie, Josephine Mike Ndumu of Ndamazon Fab, and Odo Pomi of FC Ebolowa. The winners will be announced on February 27th at the Ballon d'Or Award ceremony in Yaoundé.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our 6 p.m. news over Camdis television. It was a pleasure staying with you. Tabby Clarkson will be yours for your favorite program, Selak 2. Until then, we'll meet again tomorrow when it's exactly 6 p.m. Thanks for watching.